Hey guys, welcome to Seller Sessions on Facebook. Today I bring in Justin Dyson. Hey Justin, how you doing?
I'm good, Danny. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Seems to be a sunny evening here in London. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
We're in Texas and we have a thunderstorm rolling
Nice.
through.
That
So,
makes a bit of a change, doesn't it?
yeah.
So, do you want to give the audience just a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, sure. Like Danny said, I'm Justin Dyson. My wife is Chin, and she's also my business partner. We started ASM4, I guess, back in 2014. And so we've been selling for about 4 years now. We actually started out in the iPhone accessories case or cell phone accessories niche on Amazon, and that didn't go so well, as a lot of you probably assume. And then I guess about 6 months after we started, we were like, screw this, let's start over. And we got into the baby niche, and we've been there for 4 years now, and we're at the upper end of the seven-figure spectrum now. And so just long story short, that's kind of
When,
where we're at now.
when you say upper end, do you mean upper end towards eight?
Yes, we're getting there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Congratulations. So
thank you.
when you think about this, is I think thing for you was quite key was timing. So you
Mhm.
had this timing and the fact that you had your was it your first child came
That was
along?
my second. Yeah.
It's your second child come along, and you happen to switch from iPhone cases, which can be an unruly business, tight margins, etc. A lot of money spent on PPC, dealing with a lot of black hat stuff, to then going into a niche where I suppose it's also very relatable as well because of having children.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
what was the mindset behind that switch? Obviously, you want to get out of one thing and jump into another. I've always found that people, I'm not in baby, but the people that I speak to, you've got a lot of people looking and browsing products. So sometimes the conversion rates are not very high. You might get higher sessions with lower conversions because people are very picky. If you found that, even though you're in a far more successful position, then a lot of people can be nowadays as you're heading from seven to what towards eight figures. But
Mhm.
how have you found that niche to work around that aspect?
I mean, it's worked to that to some degree. I mean, we have some products that, they do have a 30, 40% conversion or unit session percentage, whatever.
Yeah,
And then we have others too that do have see higher sessions and then they have a lower conversion around 10 or 15%.
yeah,
And I think it depends on the product, and it definitely depends on, how specific someone is about their certain needs. So like mothers, we sell specifically to like moms who have children between newborn to 3 years. So they have very specific wants and needs, and depending on the product, you can definitely see that in the data where they're shopping around. Your sessions and page views will be a wider gap. And we have other products that people aren't as picky about, and it's a much narrower gap between sessions and page views, and obviously for those our conversion rate's a lot higher.
yeah.
So,
And
but it's
so, in terms of products, you got one, two, three brands. Is it all under one, or
Nope, just one. Yeah, we only have the one brand and all in the baby niche.
and then outside of variation SKUs and stuff? How many products do you have?
So we have 14 product lines at the moment and 65 SKUs, active SKUs right now. We've
Yeah.
got another three that should be here in June. And then we're obviously working on new products to come out in Q4, which for us, we have longer lead time. So we're typically trying to plan out 6 months or more at a time for new products.
So, to talk to me about some of the changes you've seen over the years. Obviously, you've been in the game since 14 in the golden years into the gold rush to where we are today. So, talk to
Sure.
me about the changes you've seen over that period that stood out for you.
Early on, when review clubs were a thing, and you could, Zon Blast was one of the things too. Like everyone was using Zon Blast. We're going to take our products and launch. And I guess I was naive at the time. I was like, oh my God, that's cheating. Like those are fake reviews. I'm not going to do them. So I never actually did any review clubs or anything like that early on. So for me, like we're not seeing a ton of changes in that regard, other than the emphasis on building your own audience has become ever more important.
Yeah.
That's something we kind of neglected early on, but the past year and a half, 2 years now, we've put a great focus on that, and that's honestly helped us tremendously and helped us grow. And I
Hmm.
think for a lot of people, if you're not moving in that direction, you need to start as soon as you can, because that's where we're headed. It's getting harder to get reviews, it's getting harder to launch. It's not that it's impossible. We find new products all the time, and so can everybody else. But in general, building your own audience is still the main focus people should have if you want to survive.
And do you find it's easier to acquire reviews based on the fact of having higher quality products as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's super easy to tell. We track all the data for all the metrics for each of our SKUs on an individual level, and you can definitely tell the products that we do a really good job at making sure the quality is really good, making sure it meets the customer's needs. We don't even have to ask for reviews; they just come in. Yeah. And then the products that kind of meet people's needs, or we didn't do a good job, or it's not high enough quality, those we struggle to get reviews. So it's very, very important. Make sure you have high quality product. Make sure it meets the customer's needs. You want to be different, but you don't want to be so different that it's not what the customer's
non-relatable. Yeah, it's non-relatable.
Yeah. So I definitely believe higher quality equals more reviews.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fascinated with me with reviews. You often see like groups on Facebook, people saying that maybe they're competitors, and rightly so. There are people out there are doing. They're attacking each other. There's nastiness that goes on the platform and stuff. But I do feel that there's probably a big chunk of those people that getting bad reviews is that they lack the self-realization that the product's not that great, and it's easier to blame a competitor than to really accept the fact that you got a shit product.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone through that too, especially like your first, slew of negative reviews. You're like, oh my God, these can't be real because, I made sure this didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then if you actually do the research on it and, follow up with your manufacturer, you may find out that, you had an entire batch of inventory that had this one problem, that it wasn't there before and it wasn't there on the inventory batch after, but, you've got these issues and you need to solve them. That is one of the things.
Yeah, I think some of that happens as well. Like you and I, we always have inspections, like I've done since day one. Even if I've felt my first early products wasn't as good as the quality they are now, because you learn better, you put more things in place, don't you? I still think that, say, some of the reviews are going to come down to people having negative reviews because they say they're blaming their competitors, but then next thing you'll find out is they don't do any inspection. So they're relying on their factory to provide top of the line product. And who's to say out of 1,000 units that get shipped, there's not 150 dud ones packed on the inner side in the middle, which you don't look at because you've flown them from factory direct to Amazon without any like checks in between.
Right. Yep.
So what's occurring for you in terms of the future now? Like you mentioned about investing in branding, and are you doing a lot of off Amazon stuff as well in terms of marketing?
Not so much in terms of marketing. The only thing that we're doing off of Amazon, obviously we're doing ManyChat, or building our Facebook Messenger group. But we don't run a lot of Facebook ads. We pretty much run only ads within Amazon. Mm-hmm. The only other thing we're doing is Walmart. We put a lot of focus in Walmart over the past six months.
Yeah, talk to me about that. Apparently it's I've not done it myself, but apparently it's quite easy to rank on Walmart. It's like the Google of yesteryear.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone wants or wishes they would have got into Amazon, 5 years before they actually did. And I personally think that's where Walmart's at. Walmart is Amazon between 5 and 10 years ago. Part of that means it's very easy to rank. There's not a lot of competition. Ads are super cheap compared to Amazon. But the other part of that is that means it's clunky. They haven't figured everything out. I think a lot of people get really pissed when they go over to Walmart and they're like, oh, well, I can't do this, or this doesn't work the way it does on Amazon. I was like, well, yeah, they're new at this. They haven't figured it out. So I personally think if you can stomach those things, you can get over the few hiccups that Walmart's actually going through, then it can be a really good channel. We're hoping to turn it into $1 million a year channel before the end of the year. The biggest struggle we have with them right now is just inventory. We didn't realize how quickly things were going to scale up once we got access to 2-day delivery. So I very much think it's going to be a big deal, even though technically they're losing the e-commerce game. I think they're the next best thing.
So your first year with Walmart, and you're going towards 1 million in your first year on Walmart, which is off an Amazon platform, when Amazon's your main platform. That's pretty impressive, So how many SKUs are you running on Walmart at the moment?
I mean, how many do we have listed there, or how much are we selling?
Yeah, how many SKUs you got listed on there before we get into the sales?
So we've actually been on Walmart for more than a year, but you couldn't actually get access to 2-day shipping until about 6 months ago. Gotcha. So we're doing like $15K a month on Walmart with their standard shipping, which on Walmart, they display it as like 5 to 10 days shipping, which no one wants to wait for that. So you're not getting a lot of sales. So we've had all of our listings on there. We currently have 65 listings on there. And then 6 months ago, when they turned on the opportunity to use 2-day shipping, free 2-day shipping, just like Prime, sales tripled in like a month and a half, 2 months. And we weren't expecting that. So we've been running out of inventory. So I think at the moment we have 30 something SKUs that have stock, and the rest we had to place a new order specifically for Walmart because we can't pull that volume of inventory from Amazon anymore.
Cool. So what's for you, what's the future in terms of what's your plans moving forward over the next couple of years? You've obviously nailed Amazon as a platform, you're scaling up, you're doing very well. What's on the agenda for you that you want to implement in your business over the next year or so?
I think for me, just personally, is obviously want to continue scaling. Like I really want to hit that 10 million mark. I just feel like, it's like hitting 1 million, right? 10 million is like the next big, I don't know, playing field that you can get on.
That's the milestone. Yeah, your next big milestone.
Yeah, it's a milestone that I'm trying to hit. But a part of that too is like, I want to make it, going from 1 to 10, I want to make that easier. I want to, learn how to build a team. I do have a small team now, but there's a lot of struggles with that. So a lot of it revolves around team building, team planning, and I have a business coach specifically dedicated for that reason. But really, that's kind of our main focus. We're going to continue to scale, and we're obviously going to try to build out a team that can operate without me. I don't want to exit the business myself, but I want it to be able to run and flourish without my constant attention.
So how big's the team at the moment? What's the heads in place?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Who have you got in place in terms of your team? What are their positions they're playing at the moment?
So I have 2 employees plus my wife. So my first employee, he's my COO. He pretty much kind of runs Amazon for me at the moment. He's handling all of our product launches, all of our product listing optimization. I also have another lady who is basically our community manager. So anything that touches the customer relationship space, she's handling that. So she's doing social media. We do outsource some social media stuff, but she's in charge of them. So really it's those 2 fronts. And then myself, I'm focused more on Walmart right now. And then my wife is all about product development. Obviously being a woman, she understands mothers better than I do. So we let her stick in that realm of genius.
Yes. Sounds good. I also understand you come to London. The pair of you bought tickets. Is that right? You both coming over for Seller Session?
Kind of last minute. I caught y'all's. It was you, Dan. I think Leron was on. Paul Harvey last week. I don't know what it was. I was eating lunch.
Casey Goss. Yeah.
Of course, my wife texted Athena or talked to Athena, and she was like, "Oh, you need to come to London." And I was like, "Oh, shit. All right." So.
Yeah, I did notice the other day the tickets come through, so I thought I'd give you a shout to see if you want to jump on a live and have a chat. So what do you want to get from Seller Sessions Live in London?
So personally, I thought the call y'all did last week was really good. I think what we're looking for more is just more advanced strategies in terms of not just ranking products, but list building. I know there's several people talking about that. And then PPC too. I think you're talking about some of that as well.
Yes, I go quite deep in terms of multi-level SKUs and stuff and cannibalization and things like that. So it's quite techy, but for someone like you with the amount of SKUs that you've got, hopefully you'll get some good strategies and stuff to use.
Yeah, I think just on that topic real quick too, I think a lot of Amazon sellers in particular struggle with cash flow. And one of the biggest, hang-ups or the things that you waste a lot of money on is PPC.
Yes.
So that's kind of one of the biggest reasons I'm going, because I just took that on myself for a time trying to learn it again, because I outsourced it, didn't go really well, lost a bunch of money. Now we're bringing it back in. So that's definitely something I want to reel in, get our profitability back up.
Yeah, I mean, where you are in the game, you know, sophistication is key in terms of what technology you're using, who's managing it, and how you're setting your SKUs up are really, really important, because they're the parts that are going to be viable for moving forward. I mean, that's one of our strengths, I suppose, with the agency, is that most agencies don't want to manage, above 50, 60, 70 SKUs. We manage hundreds, because that's how we built our technology for. And our goal is to look after people, late 6, 7 and 8 figure sellers with lots of SKUs. we've got a bit of an advantage play there. But you know, at that level, it's more about sophistication of your technology and how you manage and oversee the whole process. Your strategy's got to be key. And one of the key elements, of course, is setting up from day one to get you off to a good start, because you still got to do discovery. You still got to work out what your search terms are and everything else. And then you've got to implement you move from your discovery phase to ironing out, in terms of you want to really like dial in and optimize, but you don't want to have wastage. And if you're dealing with multiple SKUs, you still got that headache about, you know, the parent-child relationships, how many keywords are being shown under a parent ASIN, all those different things come into play. So there needs to be a level of sophistication there.
Agreed.
So before we go, is there anything you want to add?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I've covered quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I think we have. In 15 minutes, we've done quite well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, guys, thanks for joining us. Justin, thank you for joining us. There's a handful of general mission tickets left. The super earlies, the early birds are gone. You can go to sellersessions.com/live and go and grab them there. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.